All right, so this is the review for the Unit 1 test over physical geography. And so, again, I have the test in front of me on my computer, and I'm just going over the main ideas that you'll see on the test that you need to look back over. So, of course, look back over your notes that we took in class, things like that. And definitely watch this video a couple times to get this down. So this should be the easiest unit test that we take. Again, it's just all basic information. So first off, make sure you know how to read a map. You should know, what divides the northern and southern hemisphere, what divides the eastern and western hemispheres. Know how to read latitude and longitude, and you should be okay. There's obviously going to be map questions on the test, so make sure you understand that. And then you should know, as far as climate goes, you should know all the factors that affect climate. So like elevation, latitude, closeness to the ocean, those sorts of things. And you should also, going back to maps, you should know your different types of maps. You should know the difference between a political map and a physical map. So a political map is going to show political entities, it could be states, cities, things of that sort. And then a physical map is going to be, of course, physical features, like mountains and rivers and things of that sort. And then as far as the 5 themes of geography, there's some specifics that you'll need to know. So with location, the difference between relative and absolute location. So remember, absolute location is showing coordinates, where you are absolutely. Relative location is where you are based on something else, like Marcus High School is a quarter mile south of Sonic. So using something else as a reference. And then of course the continents, you should know the idea of Pangea, how it used to be one supercontinent and then it spread apart over time. And broken apart. So that's continental drift theory. And then again, going back to climate, with elevation, you should know that as you go up in elevation, the temperature tends to decrease. So you could be at a lower latitude like Mexico City, but be higher in elevation and still have a cool climate. You should remember how to read different types of maps, like thematic maps and things like that. You need to know the difference between weather and climate. So weather is what it's like right now outside. So outside right now it's sunny and like 100 degrees or something like that. Climate is what is it like on average in a location. So what is it like here in Dallas-Fort Worth on average in January? What's the average high, the average low? How much does it rain on average? Those kind of things. So the weather can be drastically different than what the climate is normally like for that particular time of year. So climate is over time, weather is what's happening right now. And then going back to maps, you should understand map distortion. So obviously when we take the Earth and then draw it out on a map, so we take something that's 3D and put it on a 2D plane, there's going to be distortion. Continents won't be the right size, things like that. So a globe, of course, is the best representation of the Earth, but isn't the best walk around and use and stuff like that. And then, go back to earth science, you should know your different types of weathering, chemical, physical weathering, and things like that. All right, and then your different fault lines. So again, know convergent, divergent, and transform boundaries. All right, and then the seasons of the Earth, you should know why the Earth has seasons. So because of the tilt of the Earth and where the sun's rays are focused on. And of course, there's parts of the Earth where we don't really see seasons. We see wet and dry seasons, and that's in the tropics. So between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn, the equator runs in the middle. That area does not see 4 seasons a year. So anything in that area are considered in the tropics. All right, then the Ring of Fire, again, you should remember what that is, the area in the Pacific Rim where we have most of our volcanoes and a lot of our earthquakes. You should know as well how ocean currents impact climate. So if you have a warm ocean current nearby and you're near the ocean, it's probably going to be a warmer climate. It'll keep it warmer. You should know the term continentality when it comes to climate. So if you're far away from the ocean, like in the middle of Siberia, or in the middle of North America, then your climate's going to be more extreme. It could be pretty warm in the summers, and then the winters can be crazy cold. Whereas then if you're near the ocean, your climate tends to be much more controlled. So you won't see this big difference between winter and summer for the most part, if you're near the ocean, that is. So that's continentality. All right, then going back to earthquakes, you should know what the epicenter is, what fault line is, what a seismograph is, those things, which are all review, so that shouldn't be a problem. Going back to climate again, you need to know rain shadow. So again, the rain shadow is where, like, if you have a mountain range and you got the ocean on one side and all the moisture comes in from the ocean and it rains on this side, but that moisture can't make it over the mountain range. it can't make it to the backside of the mountain range. So usually this side of the mountain range facing the ocean is really moist. You're going to have thick vegetation. You get to the backside, you're going to see desert or a very arid region on the backside because that moisture cannot make it over. All right, and then human environment interaction. So just a couple of things about this. Remember, again, this is how we adapt to our environment, our physical environment. So like, for example, us building air conditioners here in order to survive here in the South in the heat. And then let's see here. So a couple of questions about HEI. You should remember what GIS is, so Geographic Information System. So remember, that's the different layers of information we can add onto a map to give a better idea of what's going on depending on what we're looking at. So I use Google Earth as the example in class of how you can add layers of information to the map as well. Okay, some more stuff about earthquakes. Comparing weather and climate again. Again, you should know all the factors that affect climate. Map distortion, should understand that again. A couple questions on that. All right, most everything else is a map or a chart where you don't really have to know anything else other than those things in order to get it right. So this one is one of the shorter tests, only 40 questions. Like I said, this should be the easiest test out of all of the units. So this is a good one, just kind of get a head start on as far as your grade goes and hopefully boost it up. So if you have any questions, of course, come in and ask or shoot me an email.